All right, y'all, bear with me here. I am just trying to finish getting ready for the day. Okay. All right. So, what was I gonna do? I was gonna finish doing. So the other morning, I found out about a job posting with an organization that's very mission aligned with me. And side note, remind me to come back and talk about never having truly worked a 9 to 5 job. This was a 9 to 5 job, and I mean, these days it takes a very values oriented job to entice me to submit. So, like, I waffled on the decision for, about 30 minutes or so before deciding, no, I should definitely submit. So, there was a video application component, and while the job posting was live, submissions submissions would not open until 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which it really does seem like an odd time, but when upon further examination, those are actually their opening hours. So, okay, I figured they're going to get absolutely slammed with submissions. So let me get all my things ready. I got made up. I taped the video component. And look, I know I was a bit long-winded, as I tend to be, but I was passionate. This was in the same line of work I do as a forensic teaching assistant, trauma-informed care for specialized populations, but put into practice. So I made my cover letter, and I mean, I did all the things. I did all of this at the drop of a hat, having just recovered from about 2 days in bed, one of which was running 101-degree fever for about 12 hours. And then it was go time. Okay, and so then it was go time. I started hitting refresh like 5 minutes till. No application. 2 minutes till, and then the full application loaded. I was off and uploading everything as quickly as I could because that loading time was very long, which meant that there was a lot of web traffic for this application. And then finally it said, video application 5 minutes long. I should have just submitted it as it was, but I wanted to edit it. I'd never edited as fast as I had in my life. Cut it down to 6 minutes, which was a compromise with myself, in less than 10 minutes, and hit submit. Now, the internet spun for about 3 minutes, so I walked away and then came back. And then came back to a 401 error page. I can't remember where I saw the response that they received over 1,000 submissions in less than 2 minutes. It was a full paying job for 3 positions, benefits within the LGBT community. Like, I couldn't help but feel like a bit dejected, the other day. Rejected before I even hit sent. Of course, this comes on top of the film industry, being how it is. So I taped an audition over the weekend and I thought, I did a decent enough job. Brought life to a small part while still not overshadowing the lead. Complimentary. I'll never hear from them, but as we actors say, we are auditioning for the room. Audition after audition after audition. Perhaps that's why it's exciting to work on short films. Because for a screen actor, there's so little acting actually involved from day to day, and there's so little character work because so much time is spent auditioning that to be cast in a character piece short film is incredibly exciting and rewarding work. We get to play. Auditioning for nurse number 2 in a series isn't the moment to play. I mean, there are a way that these things are done, and I mean, yeah, you can play inside the lines, but now's not the time to bring the play. We actors we're not supposed to think rejected before we even hit send, but I mean, casting directors are admitting to not even watching them. One of these auditions, I am going to just look at the camera and ask, did you even watch this? I won't, but I want to. There's a side rant here in how about relationships between acting and casting directors shouldn't be so antagonistic, but here we are. And then rejection on a societal national level. The steps taken by a society to strip away one's rights and humanities, to make existence a crime. And it's the kind of grief no amount of therapy for which one can ever really prepare, or something against which one can brace. I mean, you see a whole majority of the population quick to demonize and other this group, which, by the way, makes up less than, on a good day, 1.5% of the population. That's an estimated 5.1 million people out of the US. 10% of Americans have a personal relationship with these groups. That's an estimated 34 million people. New estimate, about 45% know someone who is trans, 153 million. And granted, a conversation needs to be had about gender, gender expression, and sexuality. Drag queens are not necessarily trans, and how someone presents has no bearing on their gender or sexuality. We need to have that conversation. We need to have that conversation in this country, but we can't even get to that conversation. Americans repeatedly do not deal well with nuance. Rejected before we even met. Ugh. Coffee's done. I got a letter from a film organization asking if everything's okay, that I hadn't asked for a recommendation to any grants and applications, and if there was anything I wanted to submit. So how do you put into an email? I'd love to, but right now I don't have the emotional capacity to handle any sort of rejection right now, nor the emotional capacity or mental bandwidth to suss through different grants, see which ones are applicable, and then go through the whole process of filling out applications, paperwork, writing answers, writing essays, and answering questions when it really all amounts to, please give me some money so I can make this work. That's really important to me, but probably not important to you. I should get my water. In the days of old, at least the oligarchs and rich people wanted to be associated with talent and greatness, and they would toss some money at it. I mean, you know, how art has functioned for its entire existence. The Renaissance, the great masters, architecture, sculpture, literature, the stage, film, the Beaux-Arts, you know. These days, it feels like instead of trying to wine the money holders with gourmet, we're forced to make chicky nugs so the techno bros have something to fascinate over. Moneyed people were never going to care, but there's something incredibly callous about this new class of money people. Venture capitalists, tech bros, etc. But I digress as always. I don't think I got the job because the website crashed. Did I even stand a chance? Isn't it a summation of what any sort of hiring process is like these days, whether an actor, creator, performer, talent, or non any of those things? It's reduced to an anonymity, just a series of bits and bytes. There's nothing personal. Swipe left, or is it right? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've used a dating app. Anyways, I just needed to vent and get this off my chest because it would have been nice to have a salaried position while working from home where our values were seemingly aligned. Instead, let me go work on this wig for the short film shoot I am actually incredibly excited to shoot next weekend. I'm so incredibly excited about it. Can't wait for it to come out, and there are a series of things. So thanks for listening to me, and support trans people. There's a list of organizations somewhere floating around in one of these scrolly things that I do. Please support them. LGBTQ organizations now more than ever need support as federal funding is being pulled and our community is in need of resources, especially mental health related, and housing. So any and all help does help. Spread awareness, resist, don't be silent. You know what? You know what you need to do? You know what you need to do. Go watch V for Vendetta and follow Evie's story. All right. It's time for Jelly Beans. I gotta go. Bye.